When I first discovered Night in the Woods, I immediately fell in love. The game's title and art style were what got me curious, and its story, characters, and themes were what made me truly admire this work of art. It all really resonated with me, and with a lot of other people too. The thing is, we're all like May Borowski in some way. Even if we're not a 20-year-old college dropout or living in a rural Appalachian small town, we've all found ourselves or will find ourselves at a point in our lives where we feel like we're in some kind of in-between stage that we can't easily find our way out of. I'll explain how that idea relates to Night in the Woods' story in this video, which will contain major plot spoilers for the game. First, I want to talk about what liminal spaces are. Basically, they're places that exist between others in which people don't usually spend a lot of time, or at least aren't meant to. These include places like hallways, parking lots, and rest stops. They exist between the origin of a journey and its destination, meant to be briefly traversed and then left behind. We can think about stages of our lives in a similar way. We may have a transitional period when we're between jobs or in the process of moving to another city. This transition is not only physical, but mental. The thing is, sometimes our minds can get stuck in the transition, either because we somehow can't leave the starting place or get to the destination, or for a different reason entirely. During the story of the game, the main character May is in a lot of different mental liminal spaces simultaneously. She's in between childhood and fully realized adulthood, and in between deciding to leave college and figuring out what she's going to do next. She has experienced significant trauma that she hasn't yet faced or properly dealt with. The town she lives in, Possum Springs, is a relic of a bygone era defined by an industrial boom that became a bust long ago. Some people still remain in the town, but most of them acknowledge that it will never be what it once was, and some even believe that it's only a matter of time before it's depopulated and abandoned entirely. The game's villains demonstrate how that kind of situation can affect a person mentally in the worst way. More on them later. May also has dreams that take place in the astral plane. Traditionally, the astral plane is seen as being between the physical and spiritual, and sometimes even between life and death. May does encounter ghosts in this space, most notably the members of the former Deep Hollow Hollowers band. Spirits may remain in this space because they can't let go of their earthly attachments enough to move on to whatever more permanent afterlife may exist. The Hollowers seem to be a special case, not seeming quite as lost as the rest of the spirits, so they may be choosing to stay behind in order to serenade spirits passing through with their music, and they've made peace with that decision, so they're in no danger of losing themselves. May's two best friends are in differing life situations. Greg is preparing to move out of Possum Springs with his partner Angus. Bee is staying behind because she has no real way out, tied down to the family business and her ailing father while dealing with the aftermath of her mother's death. May discovers through the game's climax that she will unlikely ever be able to leave Possum Springs permanently, but she accepts her friends' circumstances and helps them to accept their own as well. At the end of the story, they're in between what they just experienced and what the future holds, but in the moment they're okay because they have each other as anchors that will keep them from drifting away into despair and desperation. As they all come to discover, giving in to those things will only ever lead to one's ruin. The creature at the center of both the nefarious Possum Springs cult and May's prolonged strange mental state is the Black Goat. A member of the cult describes it as not being black as in the color, but in the space between the stars. In other words, dark matter and dark energy. The Black Goat promises the cult members that it will keep Possum Springs from falling completely to ruin if they keep offering it human sacrifices. For them, the Black Goat allows a sustained presence in a liminal space, the one between the town's former prosperity and potential ruin, ensuring that it never fully reaches the latter. When the Black Goat attempts to entrap May and use her present mental struggles against her, May asserts that she doesn't need something that will save her forever, only something that will get her through the present difficult time that she is in until she can come out the other side. As both a young adult and someone who grew up in post-industrial Appalachia, Night in the Woods is very relatable for me. It portrays life experiences that can be difficult to express, and it does so in an effective and heartfelt way. Anthropomorphic animals and eldritch creatures may not be real, but difficult life circumstances and the brain's myriad of responses to them definitely are. When these kinds of stories are told, it can really make a lot of people feel less alone. I will always be grateful to Infinite Fall for giving us the artistic and narrative masterpiece that is Night in the Woods. So how do you feel about Night in the Woods? Do you agree with my interpretations of the story? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. I've got a lot more coming on a wide variety of media that has had an impact on me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.